Breaking news, guys. The Raiders stink. I didn't know if you guys knew, but last week was awful. It was completely trash. It was so bad that I have no clue who the Raiders are going to start at quarterback next week, AOC or Gardner Minshew. I swear we've had this conversation the whole offseason, and now we're having it in week 6. And if you're having it in week 6, it's probably not a good sign for the rest of the season. Considering last week, man, it was a great start. It was a wonderful start. We start 10-0 on the Broncos, 10-3. We're inside the Broncos 5-yard line, and Minshew overthrows Brock Bowers, and Pat Surtain takes it back 100 yards to tie the game. And you could feel it in the game, man. The momentum completely changed. That play right there lost the game for the Raiders, for sure. It was also potentially Minshew losing his grip on the starting job. From a potentially 17-3 game, knotted 10-10, the Raiders derailed from there. I think the Broncos scored like 24 unanswered points after that, and it was just ball game. And now you have the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into town. 3-2, coming off a loss at home against the Cowboys. But their pass rush is even better than Denver's. Whoever we throw out there will be in trouble. But if they do these things, they could have some success. Key number 1. You got to mitigate TJ Watt. TJ Watt is an absolute game wrecker. He will have several moments in a game where it just looks like he's absolutely taking over. And if he takes over this game, the score won't be close. We have to send a chip, an extra tight end, an RB on his side. We have to do whatever it takes to keep him out of the backfield. And that's probably not even enough. He is that kind of player. He is probably the best pass rusher in the game. Probably him and Myles Garrett are 1A, 1B. Crosby's also there, but Myles Garrett and TJ Watt are on another level. He will terrorize any tackle we leave one-on-one, whether that be Colton Miller. He struggled the whole season. He's still kind of hurt with that shoulder, and he hasn't looked the same. If we line him up against the rookie DJ Glaze, you're asking for even worse. I'm not saying DJ Glaze is bad or anything. It's very rare to find a rookie starting right tackle, and he's been doing well so far considering the circumstance. But if you put him against TJ Watt, man, you're asking for trouble. Watt against Glaze would be barbecue chicken, no pun intended. So whatever we do, we have to game plan heavily against Watt. Key number 2 is to keep Justin Fields in the pocket and make him a passer. We need to limit any big plays the Steelers can make, and keeping Fields in the pocket and making him more of a passer rather than a dynamic playmaker can really help us. If we can hold the design runs and runs with Najee Harris to minimal gains and keep Fields in third and longs, we'll have a lot of success defensively. And obviously, keeping Fields in the pocket starts with stopping the run first. So Najee Harris, we have to mitigate him under 4 yards per carry at least. Also, tackling was a huge issue against the Broncos, and we're going to need to fix that. Pittsburgh is a way more physical team, and if we don't wrap to the ground, it's going to be a long, long day. Key number 3, penalties. We cannot beat ourselves this week. We can't. Last week, we had way too many penalties, and it's kind of uncharacteristic in the Antonio Pierce era because that was his one calling card, I guess. Ever since he took over, the Raiders have been the least penalized team in the league, and last week, that just wasn't the case. We gifted the Broncos a free 3 points before halftime. We had a 15-yard penalty right after a missed field goal, and that gave the Broncos a 3-point lead before halftime. There were so many unforced errors by the Raiders, and it just put us in second and third and longs. We just can't have that against the Steelers defense. We need to execute cleanly without penalties on all 3 phases in order to give ourselves a solid chance this week. So for my final prediction, I have the Steelers taking this 21-10. I have to be honest. The Raiders don't know who they're sending out at starting quarterback this week, at least when I put this video out. And it's only week 6, so it's not a very good sign for successful offensive production. The offensive line has struggled to keep Gardner Minshew clean, and I don't see that changing if we put Aiden O'Connell under center. Sure, Aiden can make quicker reads and has better anticipation, but when it comes to playmaking and extending a play, he just doesn't have that in his game like Gardner has. And I don't see the benefits of Aiden mitigating the lack of playmaking he has. And if he's a sitting duck against the Steelers pass rush, it's going to be a multiple sack game. I think the defense can bounce back this week and keep the game manageable, but the Steelers should take this quite comfortably. Expect a lot of terrible towels in the stands this Sunday, and let's just hope the Raiders can fight and be competitive.